most unlucky incidents ever to happen, starting off with the 9/11 incident. Here's a video of the crash. 49 seconds later. Bro, you may think that couldn't have caused the whole building to basically collapse. It spreaded throughout the inside of the building, spreading to the outside, basically exploding the building. Oh yeah, there were also like over 10k witnesses because the explosion was so big. There were like 30 people near the 9/11 incident, and there were some people who could see it from miles away. That's how big it was, and smell it. So you're not going to watch the full documentary before 9/11. This might actually be a bit more accurate, so you can like see the plane. Also, there are many other plane incidents. Yeah, that boat did not survive. I'm telling you. I don't know if it really didn't. What the heck? It just went through 2 buildings. Meant to be flying through the building, not flying through air. Yeah, it just like goes straight through it. I thought that would be better, but like, guys, fun fact about the 9/11. But did you know the 9/11 was actually not recreated, but it was purposely happened. The driver of the plane purposely went the wrong way. Okay. And saw the building and decided that he had plans. Oh yeah, by the way, this plane driver thought he could escape because he had the perfect route, but he didn't escape and died. Oh yeah, this is a report.
This is as close as we can get to the base of the World Trade Center. You can see the firemen assembled here, the police officers, FBI agents, and you can see the 2 towers. A huge explosion now, raining debris on all of us. We better get out of the way. We don't know what's happened inside. What we know we have to do is just keep running the other way. The firemen are going this way, so are the police officers. We don't know what's happening. This is as close as we can get to...
On September 11th, 2001, a regular Tuesday morning in New York turned into a day the world would never forget. At 8:46 a.m., a commercial plane slammed into the North Tower of the World Trade Center. People thought it was an accident, until 17 minutes later, another plane crashed into the South Tower. America was under attack. 2 more planes were hijacked. One hit the Pentagon, the heart of U.S. defense, while the other, United 93, never reached its target thanks to brave passengers who fought back. First responders risked everything, and in just under 2 hours, both towers collapsed, leaving behind devastation, but also courage and unity. 9/11 changed the world forever, but it also showed the strength of the human spirit. We will never forget. On September 11th,
that's actually... Oh yeah, this is like a view of inside the plane.
Just like your first time flying? Or...
No, this is my last. Everybody,
okay, that's just not funny. So anyways, this is one of the most tragic, not even an incident at this point, because people found out that it was meant to crash. It wasn't even an incident. It was like a target. Anyways, so the next tragedy will be coming right up. This is the story of the Japan Airline 123. Basically, the driver hit the mountain. Anyways, let's watch that video.
This 747 crash killed 520 people. Japan
Yeah.
Airlines Flight 1.
This killed over 577 people.
23 was scheduled to fly from Tokyo, Japan to Osaka, Japan in a 747 on August 12, 1985. Today we're going to replicate that flight and subsequent crash. Only 12 minutes after takeoff, that 747, which had been involved in a tail strike incident a few years prior, suffered a severe
Because basically,
structure.
what happened is, as it landed, to board the next customers, it scratched its tail. And you'll see what happens.
Failure and decompression. They completely lost their vertical stabilizer altogether.
Yeah, that scrape loosened the wires before the wires completely came off and the back fell off.
The pilot requested to return to Tokyo, but when they started banking, they realized that they were losing hydraulic pressure as well, which essentially made the aircraft uncontrollable. The flight continued for another 32 minutes until, unfortunately, that 747 crashed into a mountain just 60 miles from Tokyo. Sadly, 505 passengers and 15 crew members passed away, but somehow 4 passengers survived the incident. I cannot imagine their PTSD, and here's that crash.
This is literally caught in full color. Japan Airline 123 incident is a famous incident.
This 747
let's
crash.
watch a different video. So this is what it looked like, then this. Yeah, it also caused a wildfire, burning down all those trees, which was actually a real tragedy. It's actually a really sad incident that happened. Let's see if this is good. I think they edited it once. The back is meant to have fallen. One of their wheels, then they crashed into the mountain. I want to try to find like a actual realistic one. Wait, this one might actually be good. Look, 'cause they scratched the back of their tail. Look, can you see that? It also caused some of the the air flight station. It also caused the roads to crash down. It's boarding all the people. But none of these 582 people know about what's about to come. Within around 59 minutes, just under an hour, they sent their photographs. Can you see how it's like flashing white? Because it's kind of fun. See, that's what was meant to happen. Pilots don't know, even though alarms are going off. Pilots just think it's a test, but then the plane starts spinning. Wheels come out to balance it out. This is why I'm scared to go on an air flight. So in fact, on the 6-week holidays, I'm going to Spain. So I feel scared to go on a plane because I'm going to Spain for a week. Right, let's continue now. See, and then they see the mountain. They just fly over the tip of a park, but that saves one accident, but not the next one in around 5 minutes. right wing gets flung off by one of the trees, causing it to crash. Look. So it causes it on fire and it comes off, and then they crash. It also caused a wildfire, burning up all those trees. Okay, but anyways, the next incident will be coming up. Right, this is the story of the Nutty Putty incident. Let's watch it.
Imagine you're crawling through a cave and suddenly you can't move at all. This actually happened in 2009. A 26-year-old cave explorer, John Edward Jones, was exploring the Nutty Putty Cave for a family trip. A popular cave system in Utah known for having some narrow tunnels, but wasn't considered deadly and actually a beginner-friendly cave for inexperienced climbers. Also, John had climbed here years ago as a child, so he was pretty confident. Climbing deeper, eventually John made it to the most popular area of the cave called the birth canal. Not too challenging for him, but this is where things took a turn. As John continued crawling, the tunnel started getting way tighter than he remembered. Because what John didn't realize, this wasn't the birth canal. He made a completely wrong turn into an unmapped area of the cave. Thinking it would get easier, he crawled even deeper. Becoming so challenging, he had to suck in air to squeeze through. Continuing to go down further again, hoping to find a turnaround spot, when out of nowhere, a dead end. Now entirely unable to move. Pinned against the rocks so tight, he couldn't move his arms or take deep breaths. Upside down with gravity slowly crushing his body and locking him further in place. His brother found him, tried helping, but had no luck. Called rescuers who tried assisting him, breaking rocks, and even a pulley system. But nothing they did was working. Spending a full 25 hours in this nightmare, until the pressure from being upside down caused John's body to give out. Where to this day, John is still there, forever sealing off the cave as his tomb. Imagine you're crawling through a cave.
A man was exploring the Nutty Putty Cave in 2009, and he wanted to go through one of the tightest stretches called the birth canal. As he was going through it, he noticed it was extremely tight, but he had researched this part of the cave, and he knew that if he just kept squeezing in, he would safely make it through. However, he didn't realize that earlier on, he made a wrong turn and was actually in a different, uncharted part of the cave. This stretch was so tight that the man became stuck upside down. They tried to rescue him for 27 hours, but he eventually passed away, and the cave was permanently sealed as his tomb. A man was exploring.
Yeah, so that was a Nutty Putty Cave incident.
It's full of spiders, but I'm pretty sure you're the one to go in there.
Nutty Putty. You've probably already heard about the tragic demise of John Jones, and we have covered it before on this channel many years ago. But in case you haven't, we'll end this video with a devastating reminder of what could go wrong when you go caving.
This is
At
why I'm
age
never going cave
26,
diving in
John
Spain.
Edward Jones
I
was in the
meant to
prime of
do
his
that.
life.
It's full of spiders, but
This is the tragic story of John Jones. Have you heard of Nutty Putty Cave? This cave was popular with amateur cavers looking for adventure. John Jones was just an ordinary person who was enthusiastic about this cave. Our story begins on November 24th, 2009. That night, John set off with his brother Josh and some friends to explore Nutty Putty Cave. When they arrived at the cave, John went forward to find a passage known as the birth canal. However, he accidentally entered a very narrow and unexplored passage. As John crawled through the narrow tunnel, he became trapped. He tried to enter upside down with his arms stuck to his sides. The passage was so narrow that he could hardly move. He tried to climb back out, but it was impossible. In panic, he called for help. His brother Josh reached him first. Seeing John's condition, Josh tried to pull him out, but his efforts were futile. Josh then called for emergency help. Within hours, the rescue team reached Nutty Putty Cave. But despite all efforts, John could not be pulled out. On November 25th, 2009, John was pronounced dead. This is the tragic story of...
At 4 a.m. 25th of November 2009. It was like 3:29 a.m. I don't know the exact seconds. He died. Well, they classed him dead. And his body still remains there.
The 24th of November, 2009, a young father, John Edward Jones, enters Nutty Putty Cave for an adventure unaware it would be his last. He crawls into a narrow passage, thinking there's an open space ahead. But he was wrong. His body is wedged upside down 10 stories below the surface. Oxygen is running out, panic sets in. 100 rescuers arrive. Ropes, pulleys, desperate attempts, but John is too deep, too stuck, exhausted, fading. His last words, "Tell my wife I love her." After 27 hours, John took his last breath. His body was never recovered. Nutty Putty Cave was sealed forever, his tomb beneath the earth. Would you risk exploring a cave like this?
No. In fact, I'm meant to be going to Spain to do cave diving on the 6-week holiday. Now I don't want to go cave diving. Should I ask my mum to cancel the flight? 'Cause now, think of this. I don't... Like the airplane crash. I don't want to go on an airplane now. Because if that happens to me, you'll never see me upload ever again.
What's that?
I see what part you mean.
Yeah, it gets really tight. Don't get stuck, man.
I can't move.
Think you're gonna be able to make it?
Slowly. Oh, it drops down.
Yeah. Watch out, man. You don't want to get stuck head first. I've seen horror movies of that.
I'm really head down now.
Yeah. Be careful, man.
They're recreating the Nutty Putty Cave incident. This isn't actually the real Nutty Putty Cave incident because he wasn't wearing on tracksuits. He also went alone. He didn't have any friends. He got out. He definitely got out. He never died here. Because in fact, in that part, he's in the birth canal right now. He is in the birth canal. That part, yeah, opens up to a wide area, so he would be able to push himself back up with help. So yeah.
What's that?
I see what part you mean.
Yeah.
This is the narrowest cave ever explored by humans. And in 2009, a man entered this cave.
Nutty Putty Cave is a dangerous cave system in Utah, USA, known for its tight passages and difficult conditions.
Let's go on to the next incident. This is the blimp incident in 1937. The Hindenburg disaster, 1937, from blimps. Blimps have been officially... the last time a blimp was ever put, which is basically like a... It's sort of like an airship. The last time a blimp was ever flew, this was the last ever blimp to fly. Because as you can see on the first video, you can already see fire, so you can tell this is a bad one.
This is real footage of the German airship, the Hindenburg, flying over New York City. But unfortunately today, the Hindenburg gets its fame from the crash that took place in 1937, which was also caught on video.
Can we watch it? This 5 minutes and 10. This is yet again one of the most popular incidents, as blimps were one of the most popular transports, as planes did exist, but they were like really old-fashioned. You didn't have big planes that could hold hundreds of people. You didn't really even have planes for travelling. They were blimps, which is sort of like a hot air balloon. Anyways, this is the video.
Tragedy.
Did you know that this is real footage, okay? But the blimp here came down. Fun fact, the blimp here came down not on purpose, but because the wind became too strong. Yes, the wind was really strong, which pushed it down, exploding.
The ill-fated Hindenburg on her last flight sails over New York. These pictures, made from a Pathé News plane less than 4 hours before the tragedy, show the world's largest airship heading for Lakehurst, New Jersey. Over Newark's famous auto skyway, the airship was hailed by thousands who little dreamed it was their final glimpse of the Hindenburg. Inside the silver envelope are 16 separate gas bags, each filled with hydrogen, a highly inflammable gas. From the ground, you can see the forward control cabin from which the ship is operated. The windows along the side indicate the location of the passengers' quarters, in which many were carried to a flaming death. Approaching Lakehurst,
I think
the
4 people
Hindenburg appeared
survived.
a conquering giant of the skies, but she proved a puny plaything in the mighty grip of fate. It almost seemed as if fate had set the stage for the horrible tragedy. A graceful craft sailing serenely to her doom. For 3 hours, the dirigible circled the landing field at Lakehurst, New Jersey, dumping more water ballast than ever before in vain efforts to level off.
These 3 people also escaped. There's 4 people in the background.
Again, she dumps ballast,
You see it?
and a nervous tension grips those who are watching. For this is...
What? Let me zoom in so I can circle with my little drawer. This guy here, and then these 2 here. I mean, why does that look like a smiley face? Let me put it a bit thinner for you. Do you want me to... Here, and then one here. And then one here. This was the easiest to see. Here. But whatever.
Something unusual.
Look, there's like 100 people to board it. These people did not escape. Look, can you see all these people here? Like here. Can you see all of them? That is, in fact, a lot of people.
There goes more ballast, but the tale is settling in spite of all that has been dumped. A grim note of impending tragedy. Finally, the landing lines are dropped. These scenes were filmed by Pathé News cameraman William Deek, and you are about to see the pictures he got when the ship exploded. Those aboard leaping for life from a flaming inferno. The actual crash of the Hindenburg. An airship destroyed in less than half a minute.
So that is what it looks like. So that is the Hindenburg incident. Over 100 people died in this, but we still have many more incidents.
Rushing to the rescue, the heroes of the tragedy dash in, heedless of danger, to help the injured to safety, while others, beyond help, perish in the flames.
Anyways, the next incident that we will be looking at is none other than the Titanic incident. So let me search it up. Titanic incident.
When the Titanic hit the iceberg, it tore several holes in the ship's side, causing water to flood in. Now, the ship was designed with these compartments that could contain flooding if the hull got damaged. And if up to 4 of these compartments became compromised, the ship would still be able to float. But the iceberg ripped into 6 of them near the bow of the ship, and they began to rapidly flood. This made the bow sink into the water, causing the back half to lift into the air. Eventually, the middle section couldn't support the weight and broke in half, and both sides sank to the ocean floor. This museum shows the terrifying reality that the Titanic victims had to face. When this woman put her hand in the water, which has the same temperature they swam in that night, she didn't expect it to be -2 degrees Celsius. Most people can't keep their hand in for even a full minute. If you could survive in these conditions, hit like. This museum,
You were told
that this museum shows the terrifying reality. The Titanic is disappearing at an alarming rate. Scientists.
Oh yeah, the scientists here are actually swimming down, which the next incident will be related to the Titanic incident. But we still have 3 more incidents, and one of them took over almost 10,000 lives, which we'll be coming up to. This incident took over 237 lives, becoming one of the most famous, not the most famous, boat tragedies to happen.
Estimating that it will be completely gone within 20 years. And this is due to it being eaten away by bacteria and other.
Let me tell you how. Scientists are still trying to go into the Titanic to take out valuable resources to investigate on. But animals are still eating it. Mama getting really laggy. 1 second. I'm just gonna. Right, that should be good. Right, let me find it.
The Titanic is disappearing at an alarming rate. Scientists are estimating that it will be completely gone within 20 years. And this is due to it being eaten away by bacteria and other marine life. New footage shows the captain's bathtub, a favorite image among Titanic enthusiasts. It's almost completely dissolved at this point. The Titanic currently.
Scientists, if you didn't know, have already collected up to half of the boat items. So the half that fell off, the back half, they collected all of the stuff in there, and they're working on the front part before all of it dissolves. Especially the boat.
Resides about 2 miles below the North Atlantic. And while there have been many schemes proposed to raise the Titanic, with its current condition, there's just no way that can happen without severe damage. Not to mention, letting the ship rest and disappear in peace is probably the more ethical thing to do. The Titanic is disappearing at an.
Scientists are trying to take all the valuable things to sell and work on to see if they can try out and find out what happened. But did you know, in the Titanic incident, the driver knew about the icebergs there, but sped up at 40 miles per hour because they were only at 32 miles an hour because they wanted to crash. He thought he could swim up, but they didn't realise that it's 2 miles below, and also didn't realise that they would be trapped in there forever, dying. He learnt the lesson, but also murdered many people.
Alarming rate. Scientists are estimating that it will be completely gone. You were told that the 5 past.
This is the next one we go. Now, this one exploded within seconds. It didn't really explode because it was under the water, but it did go within
marine life. New footage shows the.
This is the Ocean Gate incident from 2020. Literally, the most. Did I spell that right now? The Ocean Gate incident. If I didn't spell it right, that's cool. The Ocean Gate, and it didn't explode, it imploded. Now, it imploded within 3 seconds. It is the Ocean Gate incident from 2023.
What caused the Ocean Gate Titan submersible tragedy? To understand it, we need to know what an implosion is, which is when the pressure outside a vessel is so great that the structure collapses onto itself. This happens at about 1,500 miles per hour, or 2,400 kilometers per hour. And in the
more Titan submersible footage has just been released
on the morning of June 18th, 2023.
So June 18th, 2023.
The Titan submersible entered the water to view the wreckage of the Titanic.
So that scientists tried finding the Titanic, because this is what they had been doing for years. They had been going down in scuba diving gear in the Ocean Gate, that one boat, trying to find stuff.
descent was expected to take 2 hours, but after 1 hour and 45 minutes, communication with the mothership was lost. At that time, the Titan was estimated to be at a depth of 3,500 meters. At this depth, the water pressure is so great that it exerts a force of 351 kilograms per square centimeter. At such high pressure, even the slightest flaw in the hull could cause it to implode. This is what appears to have happened to the Titan. The submersible's hull failed.
I mean, that's
under
not
the
what
immense-
happened. No, that's not what happened. Sort of happened different. Basically, what happened is the blimp, okay, crushed into little tiny pieces. The front of the blimp, not the sign part, but the front of the blimp crushed into little tiny pieces. Like this. Then it crushed into little tiny pieces and then imploded. That's basically what happened.
Pressure, and it imploded in a catastrophic event that instantly killed the 5 passengers on board. The implosion would have happened in less than 40 milliseconds, so the passengers would not have had time to feel any pain. Experts blame the Titan hull implosion on the choice of materials. On June 28th, debris from Titan sub-wreckage was collected, and the investigation began.
The Coast Guard released an...
Also, the 5
On the
people
morning of June
who are in there actually did. The 5 people who are in the sea right now are still not found, but are being gobbled up, apparently. This is not the real human body.
Google Play Points unlock a world of rewards.
Anyways, the next one is, isn't it isn't it like, because he got hit by 3, not sea serpents, wait, I need to Google it real quick. Guys, I need to go back to Slurpy's video to find this. I need to find Slurpy's video. This is the...
replicating it. And as you can see, we start off...
Wasn't it the... the ghost off one? It was like the ghost off. I see. The ghost off sink.
Did you know that the deadliest shipwreck in history took only 45 minutes to...
Yes. This is the ghost of sinking boat. This... over 9,000 people dead. Over 9,573 people exactly had died, and only 2 people escaped this incident. Those 2 people have now died. They died from severe diseases. So those 2 people didn't really... They escaped the first tragedy, but didn't escape the next one from germs. They tried to delete the germs by going to the hospital, but yeah, they became one of the most famous people about this tragedy. The Titanic is the most popular sinking, but then this one is
It's
more.
January 30th, 1945, and a 10-year-old boy named Horst Voigt is fleeing the war. Germany is losing, and the Russians
Because
are...
basically this is a German boat, yeah. This was back in World War II, yeah, and they were trying to flee the war and run and live in a boat.
coming for revenge. Everyone in East Prussia, North Germany, is ordered to evacuate. Their only hope is to get on board the Wilhelm Gustloff, a ship that will bring them to the safer city of Kiel. Before he leaves with his mother, Horst brings a Swiss Army knife with him, just in case. Little did they know, just hours later, they'd find themselves in disaster. The largest loss of life in a single ship sinking in history. The two made it on board the ship. The weather is bitterly cold,
and the Soviets could attack at any moment. Horst and his mother even go to sleep wearing life jackets. While sailing along the Baltic Sea, slowly creeping upon them underneath the icy water is a Soviet submarine. A deafening loud bang is heard on the boat. They have been hit. In a later interview with BBC Witness, Horst Voigt recalled the events.
My mom woke me up, and then the next thing I know, within seconds, another bang, and then another bang. We ran out of the cabin.
Because what happened is 3 mini submarines crashed in. They are so fast. It took over 36 milliseconds for each 3 bangs to hit. It was like gunshots.
And I managed to climb up the stairs, and my mom almost made it to the top and fell all the way down. When screaming my head off, Mom, 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 and eventually Mom was able to grab the railing and pull herself up.
Thankfully, Voigt and his mother made it up to the lifeboats. The only problem was there weren't enough for everyone.
There were 22 lifeboats, 11 on each side. But because when the torpedoes hit, the ship took a 15 degrees tip to the port side right away. So no lifeboat got loose on the starboard side, okay? And on the port side, about 6 or 7 got loose. The rest were frozen. So in general, all they got is maybe 7 lifeboats. And you can put about 70 people into a lifeboat.
Voigt and his mother were among the lucky few that got into the lifeboats. As it lowered, people started jumping in. Some people had to be hit over the head with a paddle to stop them from climbing aboard.
Just gruesome. Those are the things they're in your head. You can't get rid of it. It's impossible.
Then, all of a sudden, there was further panic. The ship was sinking, but the ropes were frozen to the lifeboat. They were going to pull it down with the ship. People frantically searched for someone with a knife. Just when they thought their luck had completely run out, Voigt realized that he still had his Swiss Army knife. He was just a 10-year-old boy, but saved 70 people, including himself and his mother. The lifeboat broke from the ship, and the child watched the ocean liner disappear into the Baltic Sea. Estimates say...
I thought only 2 people survived. I mean, the rest of the people died, but I think those 2 people are dead now from diseases. This is one of the most biggest tragedies to ever happen. Let's continue watching.
Between 7,000 and 9,000 people died. To put it into context, 1,500 people died on the Titanic. It was by far the greatest maritime disaster of all time.
Anyways, so the next disaster that we will be going through is wait, what was it? Wasn't it the Great Wave disaster? One of the biggest tsunamis in the world. Wasn't it? Yeah. Great Wave. I like how most of these are related to water. You see this on the 3rd video? Ignore that. Ignore this. Ignore that. But if you ignore the thing in pink, that is my brother's keyboard. That's his, not keyboard, but his mouse keyboard. But the keyboard mouse thing. The mouse cover. Mouse pad. I don't think I need to. So guys, I found it. It was the Pompeii explosion in Italy. Now this one was also in Slurpee's video that I watched. I got some ideas from Slurpee, like the Nutty Putty Cave, Titanic. As you can see, the Nutty Putty Cave is literally on the front cover. The blimp, the Hinden Golf thing, the Willem Ghost off 79 AD Pompeii, the 5 gate thing. Right. Anyway, so this one is 79 AD explosion or eruption, or Mount Vesuvius eruption. Mount Vesuvius. Is that how you spell it? Mount Vesuvius eruption. 1780 animation. I know it's a long name. Now, there's some news, but I've got some tragic things. Did you know that in fact Pompeii, the Mount Vesuvius, is still active, but it's kept under constant moderation by scientists. So if it is going to explode, they would evacuate everybody in Italy, in Pompeii. They would evacuate everybody near Pompeii, because in the 1700s it got found. Okay, and scientists started digging it up, and it's like a museum now. You can actually look at it. It's obviously fenced off. You can't live there, but yeah. And at just the end of 6-week holidays, I'm actually going to go to Pompeii, because I recently was learning about it in school, and I want to see it, you know. Obviously, I've taken for Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, and tomorrow. I'm taking Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday off. Right now it's Thursday, the 25th of June. So the 23rd, the 22nd, the 23rd, the 24th, the 25th, and the 26th of June I've taken off. It's too hot to go to school. But anyways, let's watch this long video. (24th of August 1700). Started like any other day. (8 a.m). Let's get started with this. I've been recording for over 42 minutes. If you guys watched the whole video and you're still up to here, make sure you click that subscribe button because you're a true fan. You've watched over 42 minutes. But these are true tragedies. These are not for making fun of the tragedies, especially the 9/11 ones. That's very rude. These are actual tragedies that just in case you didn't know about, I want you to know them and watch videos about them, so you can sort of see what has happened. Then it starts shaking. I'm going to draw where Mount Vesuvius is. That pink outline there is Mount Vesuvius. And then the houses here is Pompeii. But the ones nearest Pompeii got devoured instantly. But notice it starts shaking. And then it goes black. (1 p.m. Pompeii. I think 2 people escaped with the names of Tranio and Livia. This I learned at school. I'm not 100% sure. As you can see, ash is starting to plume out here. Ash is starting to plume out. Buildings like over here starting to fall apart. This was in 1709 AD. They knew about bricks before us. The ashes up here. I'm going to wait for the big explosion. So the ash is starting to come out, but just hours after, should take a, yeah, just 2 hours after, I think the thing is going to explode. So that's all the dogs and cats working. So it's starting to rain. This is also the first time Mount Vesuvius ever exploded. So look, all of this here is the ash. This is just an animation. There's no videos that actually recorded the Pompeii. They're all edited videos. There are no actual videos of the Pompeii explosion. 5 p.m. So look, houses are starting to go on fire. Basically the whole thingy, this black stuff is just the beginning. And over half of Pompeii has already exploded and died. Half of Pompeii's population is dead. But if you're a true fan, you would have watched all the way up to here. I've got over 76 subscribers. If you're one of those, you probably watched up to here. Anyways, 8 p.m. This should be the biggest of the biggest of the plumes. Basically, all of Pompeii's gone. Some people are still alive. Like, all of this part that I'm outlining now is ash. That lot is ash. That building just fell apart there. Did you see that? That building just fell apart completely. People are pretty much still alive, but like this is 1 a.m. the 25th of August. Pretty much, most people are still alive. Over probably a quarter of the city is alive still. God, it's dark. I need to turn on my bright. That might be a bit better. But all you can see is down here. That's all you can see. I'd say this explosion lasted like 3 days. I mean, trust me, it's over 1,734 years later scientists discovered this. Anyway, 5 hours later it's 6 a.m. Let's see what next happens. I've never watched this video before. They're just animations. You know, pretty much all of Pompeii is covered in ash from stuff. Some houses are still alive, like over here. The Colosseum bit is still living. A bit over here. I mean, you can tell it's animated. Surely, it might look a bit realistic. That part over there is a bit alive. Over here is definitely dead. In fact, I'm going to. This is a huge ash explosion, so I'm going to be quick. This part, there's nothing left of over here. In yellow, it's all exploded. I'm going to be quick. And look, Pompeii thingy just let out a bunch of ash. As you can see, Pompeii, the Mount Vesuvius has just let out way too much ash. And the screen goes black. Pompeii was only like a mile long. So like, pretty much, you can now see Mount Vesuvius again. What I'm outlining is dead, pretty much. At this point, I might as well just do this. Oh yeah, the river kind of dissolved. By the end of 25th of August, the landscape around Mount Vesuvius had changed forever. Vesuvius was a crater, and the river and the port was gone. Pompeii had been completely buried within a few years. No one could remember where the city had once stood. Pompeii was one of the least popular cities until it exploded. I mean, it wasn't really a famous explosion because back then there wasn't really anything to spread it with. So unless you told your friends told other people, people told other people, that would be the only way. But then once it came to the late 90s, it started getting really famous. So basically, that is what had happened. I mean, if you're a true fan, you have watched the whole thing. It has been 15 minutes of me flat recording. My voice is getting tired because, and then the directors. Obviously, he will not be able to edit and animate all of this. Yeah, this video apparently was made in Australia. 01 animation. So that's pretty much the end of the video.
Now, there's a lot of
Now that video was crazy, but this is shorter. This is way shorter. They used the same clip that they made to put onto this. But they didn't go right to 9 PM. I mean, we never saw any lava, so it wasn't really too
accurate. Around noon on August 24th, 79 CE, a huge eruption from Mount Vesuvius showered volcanic debris over the city of Pompeii, followed the next day by clouds of blisteringly hot gases. Buildings were destroyed, the population was crushed or asphyxiated, and the city was buried beneath a blanket of ash and pumice. Around noon on August 24th.
I mean, if I go onto Google, we could search up pictures of artifacts from Pompeii. So this one was somebody like this one here. This one here was somebody curled up in a ball, scared. They had frozen in ash. Not really frozen. They had been put stiff in ash. This has been put in a museum. Then this one is actually put in a museum. That one was this picture was taken in the 1900s of them not taking it yet. It was took into the museum. This is one of the bodies where they were held up. They did not break them, remove them. They just picked them up gently and moved them into a museum. And they've only ever touched it once, and nobody touched it with their bare hands. So this is somebody laying down, scared, like putting their hands over their eyes, like they're crying. That's the photo we just saw. Then this is people lying down dead, because people were probably they probably slipped over, tripped over on the rocks, passed out, and probably died from the ash. So these are two people that are probably family. Then this is somebody who was curled up, sort of I think that's the first picture that we saw, just put into a museum. Then this is some objects. So this is like a carved out stone with cracks up the middle, as you can see. So yeah, I had strawberries earlier, and one of them had a big crack, and they were and it was like really big, like it was like that big. It was massive. But the stem went all the way through it, so I pulled it out like I was pulling it out and testing. Oh yeah, this was also a helmet. So this was a helmet that they would have wore. Because this is where the eyes would this. How do I get rid of you? So, basically, this would be where their head goes. This would be where the eyes would be. And then this would be like for them to speak. Obviously, it wasn't very even, but fair enough. And this is a human. These are vases. These are pottery. This is pottery. See, the pottery colours are still there after like 9. Like, this is the next picture. You can sort of see. This is sort of like basically the same picture because they had coins back then. You know, Pompeii has aura. They had coins, but they were so like invention-y that they invented shells. Literally stuff that we use to today. They invented shells. Because they invented shells. This. Oh yeah, and this is good, man. This is probably somebody trying to climb something. This is somebody probably trying to hold on to something. And this is a baby. Like, probably like in terror. Because they died. And then this is also like a picture of something. I mean, we're not going to go through... I think that's all the pictures. Yeah. These are like many pictures from Pompeii. Ancient village from Pompeii. So, this is part of Italy. Okay, this is the thing. So, basically, back here basically would have been the city of Pompeii. So, basically, the pink parts is all of like the houses of Pompeii. These are all the pink parts is basically Pompeii houses. And then all the red parts is all of like the Mount Vesuvius. They also had some red houses behind Mount Vesuvius. But then tragedy struck. Okay, and then ash plumed out. Now all the black will be the ash. It spreads around the whole place. And then basically, that's just a map of Pompeii because it spreads way further on that way. I mean, they had over like 103 places to visit. So they were really good with putting stuff. Because this was like, because the river, so I'm going to draw out what it was like. Pink is houses. Mount Vesuvius is in red. Okay, and then the river would be blue. So this is what Pompeii would have looked like. They would have the river. I mean, I might actually have a way better idea. So blue would be the river. Blue would be the river. Then pink would have been house. And then red would have been the... I might need to actually... And then this would be a volcano. So basically, that is all the layouts between the whole place. They also had 103 locations in Pompeii, so they would be like really good at making stuff in Pompeii. Anyways, if you enjoyed this video, make sure you click that like and subscribe button if you are a true fan and you watched it all the way to the end. This 1 hour and 1 minute that I have been recording throughout some of the most famous tragedies in the world. Make sure you click that like and subscribe button for more tragedies.